movies and dark entities. The content you watch defines your world. Hello again, thank you for being here with me once more. I hope you are very well today. I am Mari. This information can be seen as science fiction, or as the viewer sees best, and I post it for entertainment purposes only. Still, I take my information very seriously, and for whoever has eyes to see. All the movies and series in the Cabal control mass media, and every other show there has a hidden reason to be. The directors of Earth, and the Cabal they have appointed to oversee the people, do not waste any single opportunity to use something to transform and control the mind of the general population. The people must be guided so they keep on generation their cherished matrix, and for them to continue to manifest what the controllers want, all this for two distinctive, but quite opposite purposes, for exploitation in every conceivable way, and because the souls of those people on Earth have chosen a difficult life there, for their own spiritual progression. Initially, no one is forced into Earth, into incarnating there, yet they can be mind-controlled and guided to think that they desire a new reincarnation there, to pay for the bad actions of their last life there, for example, when they do not need to pay for anything as such, being that paying karma is more of a choice many times, this besides the evident, which states that all actions will have consequences, this seen as karma. Although from the super-expanded point of view of the cosmos, or source, there is no karma as such, and even those things that from a lower point of view are seen as the worst wrongdoings, from way above hold a very different meaning. This must never be taken as an excuse to justify any wrongdoing, as what may be understandable and interpreted in a lighter way from way above, from below, and from the very valid experience of souls in lower existential realms. Those same wrongdoings must be either remediated, fixed, or punished. Souls on Earth are programmed into religious belief systems, which dictate that wrongdoings must be punished, especially those which involve going against the dogma they impose, which is punishment for being disobedient, and for having independent thought. Adding to this, there are other matrixed programmed wrongdoings, of a more social or legalistic nature, where some action may be punishable for going against imposed rules, which were developed by the ones in power, for their benefit, not for the one of the people, and which do not hold a true ethical reason to justify their existence. On the contrary, countless laws and governmental regulations couldn't possibly be more unethical, as they are there to perpetuate those in power, and those who control the economy. Perhaps one of the best examples of unethical laws is taxes, where someone can be incarcerated for not paying them, when in fact taxes are nothing more than government-approved systematic theft, where it is not called so officially, only because it is the thieves themselves who have designed the laws which protect them. This is only one example of many, where a law and the punishment for not following it is highly unethical from just about every point of view, but especially from way above. These kinds of laws, like the one described above, and others which are much, much worse, are so obviously unethical that the oligarchs in power must use all their resources to keep the population divided, with no resources of their own, in fear and ignorance of the truth, and of all what is behind. This is where programming the population comes in, as it means controlling the perception, values, ethics, and the very meaning each person gives to life, so all their actions, their behavior, and way of thinking, align with the wants and needs of the oligarchs. As the saying goes, there are no better slaves than those who do not know they are one. There is no such thing as an empty TV show, designed for entertainment purposes only, as they are all approved by intelligence agencies, in disguise of other institutions, so they comply and align with their needed population control trends. Even independently produced shows, such as YouTube videos, are both limited and regulated by ever-increasing censorship, or they are being made by people who are so mind-controlled that they align what they produce with the wants and needs of the oligarchs. As it is well known, the general population will copy, mimic and follow their cabal-appointed idols in the music and entertainment industry, with it obeying the direction and trend of thought, if they have such a thing, that the cabal wants. The cabal controls the population by controlling the idols in the media, this is, by controlling the content consumed, and this is no secret. The problem is this does not stop there. As I have explained in countless videos, the very real entities in the lower astral realms have very elaborate ways to control their minions in the world of the living. Furthermore, many individuals in places of power are nothing more than evil entities and demons, using a human body to access and exploit the rest of the incarnated souls. In other cases, empty, soulless NPCs or backdrop people are used as organic portals for lower astral entities, so they can come into the material world through them, in this case in a temporal way, as sometimes one particular individual may be an empty soulless backdrop person, and the minute after, there may be an evil demon inside. In other more complicated cases, a dark entity can enter and use the body of a person who does have a soul, but this is more into the realm of demonic possessions, and therefore another subject entirely. My point is that the ever-increasing amount of highly satanic and devilishly cruel movies and series, among other things, is being caused by the direct influence of dark lower astral entities, who while working through biological portals, have managed to access and influence the world of the living. With it, they use the mass media and all its established mechanisms to program and guide the perception, values and actions of the general population towards whatever benefits them. This means that those highly satanic and diabolically cruel movies, series, and so on, are being directly influenced, designed, and produced by those dark entities, even when there may be some perfectly good people working there for a living. Making people watch satanic movies is not only an attempt to normalize those dark subjects and force them into the life and consciousness of the general population, to cause the people to accept what in other circumstances would be completely rejected. It is also a way to expose the general population to satanic rituals of passage, and all other kinds, so it affects the people directly. What I am saying is that watching satanic movies, with rituals, and so on, the more detailed it is the worse, is forcing the population to bring all those horrible subjects into their life and consciousness. This does not only cause the people to manifest more dark entity egregores, but it also grants permissions to the dark lower astral entities, so they can enter the houses and lives of the people. People may think that they are only watching a horror movie, but as they do so, they are also passively performing rituals of pass, which may allow dark entities to influence them, destroying their lives in the process, as those entities are only interested in causing more suffering. Watching such content is exposing yourself to those dark entities directly. For example, some video games can be even worse than movies in this case, because some of them openly force the player to perform satanic rituals within the game. People who watch this kind of content not only normalize it into their lives, but they also start to grow an affinity for those subjects, to the point where they start to worship and mimic the behavior seen in those movies. They want to be like those dark entities, because they think it is cool, and because they have the wrong idea that they are unique and original. To the point where they think that they are going against the system and society, because normal people reject those who dress and behave in a dark, punk way. Without their knowing, those people with an affinity for those subjects end up drifting towards even increasingly more satanic and evil behavior. those people end up being assimilated by the entities, they become more of the same. Furthermore, normal people who may watch those movies only a few times, may also deliver some rite of pass to those dark entities. They may give their consent for those dark entities to enter the world of the living, where they may come into their houses and lives. The rites of pass the people unknowingly may give to those dark entities, may also cause attachments of astral parasites of all kinds. Some may be more evident than others, as they mostly work undercover, only feeding off the hurt and suffering they have caused to their victim, without knowing that their misfortune is being caused by such astral creatures. A rite of passage is needed for lower astral entities to enter the life of a person, who needs to give it some kind of consent, and this is a constant everywhere. Even those must follow certain karma rules, whereas if they were given consent to exploit their victim, the bad karma would fall onto it, and not on them. Karma is used here with more of a cause and effect, meaning there is a distinction between horror movies, such as those where ghosts and hauntings appear, and those satanic ones which include covert or overt rituals within the movie itself, and which also expose the viewer to nefarious scenes of despicable nature and cruelty. Yet, the first, which is mostly harmless, may also be an opening door to drift your attention towards the more dangerous latter. But there is another side to all this, even though there is no excuse, and no good side to seeing highly satanic movies. You need to be aware of what exists, so you can prevent such things from entering your lives. The moment you are aware of what you are watching, and you reject what you are seeing there, you are placing a powerful etheric barrier which prevents and stops those entities from affecting your reality. Yet, there is a limit to this, a limit which is set by the strength of character and spiritual integrity of each individual. But there may be a point where the evil is so great it may override such a mental etheric barrier, so believing that you are strong enough to watch a horrible movie, although it helps a lot, may not be enough to prevent you from granting some rite of pass, or consent to some kind of astral parasitization. Having said this, you need to develop a thick skin when you live on Earth, or else you will suffer unnecessarily, therefore becoming easy prey for those lower astral entities which, precisely feed from your suffering. When you understand evil, you can also reject it, choosing the side of love and integration, by action of contrast in a realm of duality. But, you can get to a level where you do not need to live evil, or make it part of your life, to understand it. So, there is no point in watching horrible movies for the sake of understanding, as the glimpses you get from there are enough. Know it is there, but choose the side of love and integration. As Mari Swaruu said, the real virtue, strength, and honor of a soul is knowing he or she can be the monster, but chooses to be the light being. The more consciousness and awareness you have, the less you can be influenced and controlled by Earth's powers at be, which also include demons and dark lower astral entities. Knowing is extremely powerful. Take care and enjoy your movies. Thank you for watching my video, and for liking, sharing and subscribing. I appreciate it a lot, much more than you think. And I hope to see you here next time. With much love, your friend, Mari Swaruu.